You've stepped outside. There's a coffee in your hand, gone cold. You forgot to drink it a while ago. You're looking at your own reflection in the glass, but somehow, you can't quite recognize it. Out of the 10 people I'm about to describe, you're probably already thinking of one, maybe 3. 2 of them came to mind from someone at your desk. One from that reflection in the glass. Which one will you turn out to be? You'll know the answer by the end anyway. Let's begin. The first type is the most prepared one of all. Name. The walking encyclopedia. The only person who's read the employee handbook cover to cover. On their very first day, while everyone else was still asking where the bathroom was, they were already explaining the company's 2014 restructuring, who reports to whom, and why a certain department got merged. Think Elon Musk, think Bill Gates. Same appetite for information, just quieter, and barely noticed. On their desk sits an old handbook nobody else has ever opened. Worn edges, pages marked up. So how do you actually use this knowledge? Ask the right question, and they'll hand you the company's entire memory. But keep one thing in mind, because you'll see why it matters soon. Knowing this much comes at a cost. A cost nobody else can see. If you can explain the company's annual strategy better than the executive who wrote it, that's not as impressive as it looks. It's exhausting. Because everyone expects an answer from them, but nobody ever asks them a question. Everyone treats them like a resource, not like a person. The second type is the exact opposite. The name eraser. You just shook their hand, and your name is already gone. Out of 9 people they meet, 8 names vanish before sundown. Faces stay. Names never do. So how do they get through the rest of the day? By nodding with total confidence. Walking down the hallway handing out the same warm smile to everyone, as if they know exactly who you are. Think Dory, think Mr. Bean. One lovable for it, one funny for it. Both hiding the exact same fear, hurting someone's feelings. But here's the truth. Have you ever forgotten a name? Probably. Nobody just admits it. Because admitting it means admitting that the name eraser forgot your name too. So really, we're all a little bit of a name eraser. We just don't say it out loud to each other. A shared secret everyone carries and nobody mentions. The third one doesn't match the room at all. The suit among hoodies. Everyone else shows up in something comfortable, and this one arrives looking like they're interviewing for a much stricter company. Pressed collar. Leather shoes that squeak on the floor, announcing their presence with every step. Think Steve Harvey. Think Tom Ford. Same seriousness, same care. To them, dressing the part is the only way to take care of yourself. But here's exactly where the conflict starts. In every room they walk into, the outfit gets noticed before they do, and the ideas fade into the background. Even if they came to the meeting more prepared than anyone else, people are still talking about the shoes, as if nothing they actually said in there was heard at all. There's a line attributed to Aesop that says it best. Fine clothes may disguise a fool, but his words will give him away. So if you run into this one, don't look at the outfit. Listen to what they say. That might be exactly what they're waiting for. The fourth one is impossible to forget. Most people manage this before they've even finished their coffee. The human reply all disaster. Known company-wide for the first email they ever sent, not to one manager, but to the entire company. You've probably heard of reply all storms at places like Microsoft. The inbox turns into an avalanche within minutes, phones buzzing one after another. But here's the strange part. Even this disaster comes with an advantage nobody expected. By the end of day 1, the whole company already knows their name, for better or worse. Some coworkers walk over just to introduce themselves in person, purely to see the look on their face. One mistake, and suddenly they're visible to everyone. An introduction ceremony nobody planned. Now comes someone who never speaks but somehow agrees with everything. The professional nodder. I don't know how many times they've nodded at something they didn't understand. They've probably lost count by now. Think Kevin Malone from The Office, Jerry Gergich from Parks and Rec. Same quiet compliance, nodding at acronyms nobody's cracked, a flicker of panic behind the eyes. So if you actually want to know what they're thinking, what do? Catch them alone, not in the group. Because one-on-one, the real answer comes out. And usually, it's a simple one. That flash of relief on their face in that moment, it might be the biggest emotion they show all week. But what does all that agreeing cost them? Everyone starts seeing them as the person who says yes to everything. Over time, What they actually think becomes something nobody bothers to ask about anymore. Agreeing, after a while, starts to look a lot like disappearing. Sixth is the one who never stops. The question machine. Asks something that was already answered 30 seconds ago. Where's the printer? Where's the bathroom? Fills their day with questions that seem to come from nowhere, arriving at your desk with a fresh one every time. Think Dwight Schrute. Think Alex Dunphy. One asks too little, the other too much. But really, they're both searching for the same thing. An answer, a connection, someone willing to respond. As the questions pile up, the other person starts giving shorter answers. Sentences get clipped, patience runs thin, but the questions never stop. And there's a real choice here. The person on the receiving end either accepts this curiosity as a way to actually connect or quietly prefers a more peaceful way of working. Both are valid, but one is a lot more tiring than the other. Maybe all those questions are really just one question, wearing different outfits. Do you even notice me? Seventh is someone whose every sentence starts from the exact same place. The broken record. Even explaining the coffee machine somehow loops back to the same story. The seating chart, the lunch policy, always opens with the same line. Back when I started here. Think Grandpa from The Simpsons. Stanley Hudson from The Office. Same stories, same complaints. Told like it's the first time every time. So why? Because underneath most of these repetitions is a real, unresolved discomfort. Taking it seriously, and actually listening once, might be the shortest way to break the cycle. But nobody tries. Because even if they're right, hearing the same thing over and over eventually drains it of any weight. The voice stays the same, but nobody's really listening anymore. Maybe all they ever needed wasn't to tell the story one more time. It was to be genuinely heard, just once. Eighth, maybe the quietest one. The lunch table orphan. While everyone gathers together, they sit alone in a corner, pretending to be busy on their phone. Think Toby Flenderson. Milhouse from The Simpsons. Always just outside the circle. Always watching. Some tell themselves it's about being productive. Half-open laptop, eating at their desk, pretending to check emails, staring blankly at their phone. But the truth is, it was never really about productivity. This is part of those first days nobody prepares you for. And everyone in that building, whether they'd admit it or not, remembers a moment just like this from their own first week. That empty seat isn't really empty. It's waiting for an invitation nobody's sent yet. The next time you spot someone like this, one sentence can change everything. Want to join us? The ninth one is the exact opposite story. Walked in on day one and leaned against the break room counter like they'd worked there for years. The instant veteran. Knows which chair wobbles. Knows which coffee pod is actually the good one. Nobody told them. They just figured it out. Think Ryan Reynolds. Think Emma Watson. That same fast, easy energy, like they were born with it. But don't forget, they're new too. Sometimes all it takes is a small reminder, so they don't hesitate to ask questions. Because adapting this fast comes with its own cost. People forget they're still new. And start expecting them to act like they've been there for years, as if they never had a first day at all. Meanwhile, somewhere underneath, they'd found their own way of just wanting to be accepted. Not so different from the lunch table orphan. And the final type, the one that fits the ending best, though it's a strange kind of wisdom, the one who already knows everyone's secrets. By the first week, they already know who's dating who. One conversation by the coffee machine, one comment in the elevator. That's all it takes. By 4 o'clock, they've already figured out which manager is on thin ice and why the guy in accounting hasn't spoken to marketing since March. Nobody knows how they find this stuff out, but they always do. I won't give you an example for this one, because you already know. There's definitely someone like this in your life, and you might even be smiling right now, because they just came to mind. I've described 10 types, but really, they were all describing the same one thing, wanting to be noticed. The encyclopedia tries to be noticed through knowledge. The name eraser nods because they're afraid of being forgotten. The reply all disaster ends up in everyone's spotlight, whether they meant to or not. Even the one sitting alone at lunch is quietly waiting to be invited. The broken record is waiting to be heard. The instant veteran, to be accepted. Maybe every time you walk into that building, without realizing it, you're looking for the exact same thing, someone noticing you. And maybe someone else, standing right next to you, is waiting for the exact same thing too. The two of you just never said it out loud. Maybe all 10 of these types were really just one wish, wearing 10 different outfits. Now go back to that reflection in the glass. You already know which type you are, don't you? Maybe the real question was never which type you are. It's who you've been waiting to notice you, and who you forgot to notice yourself. Write it in the comments. Which one were you? And more importantly, which one of your coworkers are you going to call right now and say, "Want to join us?" Because maybe one of the 10 people watching this video is waiting for exactly that sentence.